The story of Jacob is one of those stories that it kind of gets under your skin. It's not clean, it's not simple, and frankly, it's a little uncomfortable. We're talking about some serious family dysfunction, cunning, deception, and yet somehow it's also about a divine plan. So let's just dive right into this really powerful story that challenges everything we think we know about how things are supposed to work.
And this, right here, this is the big question that hangs over everything we're about to talk about. I mean, how can a plan for an entire nation, a chosen people, start with characters who are so, well, so flawed, so human? Let's keep this question front and center as we walk through the story. So where does this all begin? Well, it starts with a desperate prayer. We've got Isaac, the son of the promise, and his wife, Rebecca. And you'd think they had it all, except for the one thing they wanted most, a child.
And I want you to just sit with that number for a second. 20 years. Can you imagine the heartbreak, the endless waiting? In the ancient world, not having children was often seen as a curse. So for 2 whole decades, Rebecca lived with that pain. This long, painful wait really sets the stage for everything that's about to unfold. And then, finally, it happens. Their prayers are answered and Rebecca is pregnant. But this isn't the simple, joyful blessing they probably imagined. Almost right away, there's a problem, a big one. The babies inside her are fighting, struggling so violently that she literally cries out to God, asking, "Why is this happening to me?" So Rebecca, in total anguish, goes to God for answers. And what she gets back isn't just an explanation. It's a shocking prophecy that is going to shape the destiny of not just her children, but of nations.
Whoa, let's just pause here for a moment because this is a bombshell. Before these 2 boys are even born, God says the entire natural order of things is going to be flipped on its head. See, in their culture, the firstborn son got everything, the honor, the inheritance, the big blessing. But God says, nope, the older will serve the younger. The conflict is basically baked in from the very beginning.
And the birth? Oh, it's just as dramatic as the prophecy hinted. The 2 boys arrive, and even their names are a clue to the men they'll become. Right from birth, this family is set up to be completely and totally divided. And this lays out the divide perfectly. On one side, you've got Esau. He's the man's man, right? The rugged hunter, impulsive, always out in the fields. And he's his dad's favorite. Then there's Jacob. He's the quiet one, hangs out in the tents, always thinking, always calculating. And he's his mom's favorite. This favoritism, it's like planting poison in the family's garden, and it's going to tear them apart. And this is so critical. It's literally in his name. Jacob means heel grabber, because he was born physically grabbing his brother's heel. But it also means supplanter, someone who schemes and trips people up to take their place. His name is basically his job description, and it tells you everything you need to know about the path he's about to take. Which brings us to a moment that, on the surface, seems so small. A hungry brother, a pot of stew. But this encounter, it's going to change the course of history. It's the perfect storm of one brother's weakness and the other's shrewd opportunity. So let's just break down how this goes down. First, Esau, the hunter, stumbles in from the field, absolutely starving. He's exhausted. Second, Jacob, the quiet supplanter, sees his opening and makes an offer. Third, he lays out his demand, and it's just audacious. Sell me your birthright, right now. And finally, the oath. Esau, completely focused on his growling stomach, swears away his future, his inheritance, all for one bowl of lentil stew. And the text delivers this absolutely brutal verdict. It wasn't just a bad decision in a moment of weakness, no. It says that by trading his entire future for a moment of satisfaction, Esau showed that he held his sacred inheritance in contempt. He despised it. Okay, so let's pull all this back to that central question we started with. We have seen parental favoritism, scheming, impulsiveness. This family is a mess. And yet, this is the family chosen to start a nation. And that brings us to the uncomfortable but really profound truth of this whole story. And this is it. This is the key takeaway. In spite of all the manipulation, the brokenness, the really bad decisions, God's plan just keeps moving forward. It's this incredible reminder that the divine purpose doesn't depend on us being perfect. In fact, it almost seems like God specializes in working through our biggest weaknesses and failures to get his will done. So that leaves us with one last thing to think about.
When you look at Jacob's scheming and Esau's impulsiveness, what does this ancient story have to say about our own lives? What does it reveal about the real weight of our choices, the nature of our destiny, and the crazy idea that there might be a path forward, even in our most flawed moments?